Can I be heard right now? Because I hear nothing.
I don't think
Yeah,
anyone's
I can hear
watching that, though.
I know you think there'd be some chatter, all the pent up excitement.
So Sandy starts this meeting, right?
No,
Yes.
Ed does.
No, she has the account now. We're using the city account.
Yeah, we finally got it switched over.
So she starts the meetings now and records them. I have that account for until this planning commission, and then they are no longer paying for that account. The city's no longer paying for that account. We just need Sherry or Tom to sign on, and then we can start.
It just
Tom
let
just
Sherry
called me a
in.
minute ago. Oh, sorry, go ahead.
Oh, no, you're okay.
Oh,
I
there's
just
Sherry.
want to let you know
Sherry's
Sherry is in.
She's on. I see her now.
And Tom did call me a few minutes ago. I sent him the link, but he is not on yet. Or the login and ID.
The whole password thing that throws me now.
Yeah, I clicked to join and then I realized I had to have the passcode, so I had to close out everything.
I think I can fix that for the next time.
I'm
Too much
still trying to get a
work.
picture like the mayor has when you go off of, take the video off and your picture's standing there. I want that and I can't figure it out. I've done the menu options. I just can't figure it
I think you've got to do it on your phone. That might be easier
out. Yeah.
because then you can upload a photo right from there. Yeah, I can't remember how I did it though.
All right, I was going to call to order the Finance Committee meeting to discuss the 2021 temporary budget. Mayor, you want to go ahead and go over anything you wanted to talk about? John, are you frozen?
I think so.
He might have to sign off and sign back on.
So far, so good.
Yeah, he just texted me. He got kicked out. I'll join right back on.
I think this is very exciting so far.
Mm-hmm.
Like the Brady Bunch.
I could have Leah come up and play her accordion.
Sounds like a good idea.
You did not make her learn the accordion.
Yeah, I got her one at a garage sale a couple years ago. She's in the basement right now playing. It's pretty cool.
You are so cool.
It's not polka. She plays like the Beatles and stuff. Well, I will say I've got a lot of students and a lot of seniors that I've matched up for leaf raking. So,
Well, thank you for taking care of that.
yeah, well, I'm hoping they all follow through. So, you know, that's the scary part.
All right, John, looks like you're back on, brother. I'll call to order the Wickliffe City Council Finance Meeting and about the 2021 temporary budget. Go ahead, Mayor.
Got it. Thank you, sir. Yeah, I got kicked off on the laptop and rejoined on the iPad. So you guys have a temporary budget and a full year's budget. Again, not sure if you guys spent much time looking at the full year budget. You know, I did take $250,000 from the gas tax specifically for Roberts. I would support council to allocate more funds towards the road repair as well. The only unusual request I have for this year is a line in the police budget titled Neighbors Protecting Neighbors, which I'll describe now. You know, earlier this year, we heard a lot of folks during the civil unrest talk about defunding the police or police reform. And of course, this really isn't practical without any other means of protection and safety for our residents. And regardless of that, or your view on Wickliffe police or police across the country, you know, these days, I don't think we should rely on 3 to 4 officers to protect a city of even our size. And they shouldn't be relied on the way they currently are. You've all heard our police chief talk about the issues in Wickliffe, and as recently as last week, even the Lake County Sheriff warned of car thefts becoming more frequent, not just more frequent, more violent as well. Also, a Lake Tran employee was assaulted while arriving at work in the early morning. Thankfully, she was able to escape into the building quickly. So having said that, I've outlined a community safety program we'll refer to as Neighbors Protecting Neighbors. And a lot of this stems from Department of Homeland Defense and some of their guidelines about actually having a block watch. So this would include, but not limited to the following: bleed control training, which we did have in the past, CPR, but mainly focused around situational awareness, whether at your home, at the park, playground, in transition places, getting to work, in and out of your vehicle, going to stores, restaurants, what to look for and say if you have to call 911. You know, a lot of people don't know how to give clear descriptions to dispatch and do it quickly. And basic self-defense, and even I think effective use of force multipliers such as mace. I'm sure more people carry mace these days and they don't know how to use them. So essentially, you know, if council would approve this, you know, I put $25,000 in for the full year budget, just a random number. I don't really know what we'd need, not a lot of materials, more just time. But if council would approve that, I would then build the framework for that with the police chief to start in January. You know, other than that, obviously, we're just talking about the temporary budget, so not a lot of other capital requests. You will see a few lines in there from, at the request of the directors, a few things that do need to be funded in the first part of the year that is noted, you know, per which director. So that's really all I have. I'll let you guys ask any questions. Obviously, the director over here, they can speak. And as you know, Service Director Strausser wants to talk about a vehicle leasing program, which seems actually somewhat lucrative as well. I'll turn it back to you.
Yeah, Joe, you have any questions to start? Looks like your hand's up.
Yeah, so I just, while we were discussing the police, so me and before we get any further with anything, I just wanted to throw this out there. I've talked with Chief Ice a couple months back. He did some research and all right. So that speed limit trailer sign that we have one of them. Every time somebody, you know, I get it, we have a speeding problem. It's never going to end. But whenever it's moved to a street, I've got about 10 compliments to one person said that they're never going to help. It doesn't matter. They're worthless. But I've got a lot of comments. One person said, pretty well businessman in Wickliffe who would help so much on the street. He said he would donate half the money for another one. The problem is, if we get into that now, does somebody feel entitled to have it on their street? So Chief Ice looked into how much it would cost. I think if we have one more of those and we're able to spread two throughout the city, that it would just make a little bit of a difference. I believe the cost is 10,000, and I know it's not going to end speeding, but it will help a little bit. Chief Ice, if you could go a little bit on this topic, if you can.
Sure. We've had two of these radar signs for a number of years. The first one we bought, that'd be 25 years ago. We get requests from all over the city, different neighbors, complaining about speeding cars. Oftentimes, you'll get one guy that speeds down the road, and I'll send a policeman down there for 2 or 3 hours. You don't get any speeding. Every now and again, we'll catch one, but most of the time, you don't catch somebody. So by putting the sign up there, it's a notification to the residents that, hey, look, we're trying to answer the complaint. We know that people are concerned about speeding, and it does slow some of the cars down. Now, initially, actually, Ron Ely got the one that we have to drive around in a pickup truck was a suggestion by Ron Ely, and I suggested to him at the time that you're probably not going to find any single location that's going to have like a large number of speeding cars. And that's exactly what it showed. It showed that we put it on Ridge, we had it on Lloyd, we had it on Rockefeller, and there's no consistent speed violations. Every now and again, we'll get somebody that they'll give us a specific name of somebody or a particular car or motorcycle. And we forget the license plate. Sometimes we just go to the house and talk to them. Other times we've issued some citations. But do I think it's a good PR tool? I do. The first one we bought is obsolete now. The last one we bought, which is probably 6 years old. Again, that one's $5,000. It's up right now on Ridge by 300th Street. So I do think there's a value to them. So I would, if City Council decides to do that, it's a $10,000 expense, and I would support that.
So that was one thing I wanted to add during the budget talk. And the only other thing I wanted to add is if Mr. Stop had any money in the Green Ridge account going towards improvements at the golf course for next year.
And Joe, we did actually, I think Tim had, and he'll speak to it. He had, I think, 75,000 in there, and I put an extra 25 for general improvements. But Tim, you could talk about what you've got specifically allocated.
Yes, if we're going to be improving cart paths, that's a big expense, is improving the cart paths, and that's something high on our list. So that's why we put full funding in there up front, because we would most likely do it in that first quarter. So that's why that is there specifically.
Excellent. All right, excellent on that. And then also I am for if we can allocate more funds for road repairs too. I mean, with 140 streets, we have addressed, I would think the more the better, but it's on you guys to talk about. And that's pretty much all I have at this time.
Sherry or Maria, do you guys have any specific questions on this temporary budget?
So I wish I would have had more time to kind of dissect it. I mean, nothing looked terribly out of line from the few glances I've had through it. Yeah, I mean, it all seems pretty in line. I just want to make sure we've got enough allocated for important things like you had just talked about. And, I'm worried about the safety. There are some safety issues, I think, in the city that we just don't address. And our answer is, well, that's just how it is. You can't change everything. Well, sometimes I think we could try a little harder to change a few things. So I agree with what you're saying, Joe. I think that's a great idea. I mean, it certainly can't hurt anything. And I don't think it's so exorbitantly expensive that, it would be a terrible thing. And I think it could maybe, do some good. I mean, how I feel about a lighted 300th Street. I mean, there's certain places in the city where I think we should allocate some funds, but again, nobody else seems to be on that same plane. So,
well, originally I asked them to check into like 3 more, like 2 permanent ones that I see in Willoughby. They have them actually on poles to put like one on Lloyd, one on Warden, to always be there because we got a lot of speeding on those, and then have the 2 trailers. But I don't want to go crazy, and I just figured one more would help, you know, a little bit. I don't know, Mayor, if you think that that's something. I just feel it would help. You get some emails too with speeding, and I know it ain't going to end things, but if we're showing that we're trying to reduce it a little bit.
Right. That's how I feel. I mean, even on Rockefeller Road, my God, I crossed the street.
Oh, I agree with you. I think we just need to put it in the permanent, all we need to do is ask the finance director to put it in the permanent budget when we go around doing that for that, okay?
Okay.
We'll add it then. I don't think we need to add it to the temporary budget. I think we can add it to the actual 2021 budget.
Okay.
10 grand. We can talk about it, you know, in January when we go through the permanent budget. But I think it's a great idea.
Excellent.
Any other questions, Maria? Right there.
Mr. President?
Police Chief Ice?
Yeah, brought up the intersection of 300 and Ridge. And I had some research done, went back 5 years. There's been more accidents there than I thought. This year, we've had no accidents there. Last year, we had 1. And then the 17 and 18, we had 5 in each of those years. So 7 of those accidents are angle accidents, typically somebody pulling either out of 300 onto Ridge or off 300. And then 4 of them were, you know, rear end accidents where somebody's waiting to turn from Ridge onto 300. So.
Yeah, we can put that in a committee and talk about it. I know that we have to look at, Pete would have to look with his engineering team to get how much it would cost, and we can talk about that at a later date. I'm not sure the budget time is the time to talk about it, but we can definitely look at it eventually.
I brought it up just because Maria, somebody had mentioned 300 and Ridge, and I know that was talked about the last council meeting, so
She did.
I thought I'd throw those numbers out to you.
Chief,
Yeah,
could you
so-
send me that information, please?
For a nominal fee, yes.
Okay. Tell me how much.
Yeah, I agree. We got to be a little more proactive if we can be. I agree with you, Maria. So we'll just take a look at it. If it's going to be out of whack on cost wise, then we pass on it. But if it's something that we think they fit in, we can do something.
I did look into that, Ed. I'll talk about it later.
All right, we'll look at that more in depth, and we'll put it in the committee. If you guys have no other questions, I just have a couple questions. I know that the Parks and Rec Commission hasn't actually gave us the recommendation, but I don't see anything on the cart path under recreation capital. Is that something we're not planning on doing, or is that somewhere else?
Oh, for Gindra?
Yeah.
Yeah, it should have been in there unless Debbie just had it in the full year budget. I'm not sure. But we did talk about it. I mean, I'm okay with it.
It's in the Parks and Rec, my line item for the cart path, but it's not under the temporary budget. It is in the permanent there's 90,000 in there.
That's a cart path for the Green Ridge. I'm talking about.
Oh, no. I thought you were talking about the walking path you're talking about the walking path?
Yes.
At Gindra, yep. That's
the walking path at Gindra is under my line item under capital improvements for parks.
Yeah, that's right.
Even though Tim was going to bring it up.
Yeah, it's under Parks Department 101-304, 50803, equipment and improvement. So that's where the $90,000 was put for the improvement of the Gindra
Oh,
path.
okay. I see what you're talking about.
It's just not in the temporary budget because it's not going to be done before March.
Okay, I see what you're saying. All right, I just wanted to confirm that. And the only other item I wanted to ask about was, I lost my place.
Wait, can I ask about the path?
Sherry, you absolutely can.
Don't we already have a path down there?
It is. Have you walked the cart path or the walking path at Gindra recently?
Like in the,
It's not wide enough. It is falling apart.
oh,
In real bad shape, yeah.
It is in horrible shape. It needs to be fixed. And it needs to be wider. If trucks need to drive on there, instead of driving on the grass, they need to drive on the cart path, and it's not the walking path, and it's not wide enough. So there needs to be some repairs to it, and it's going to cost probably, I don't know, 90,000 apparently. I thought it was going to be a little less, but around there.
It was 71,000.
There you go. I thought it was around 70. Okay. And that was going to be a recommendation of the Parks and Rec Commission. I'm on that commission, and they have yet to send me the letter, but I was hoping we could talk about it, and that'll probably, we'll obviously talk about that at the actual permanent budget. Hopefully they'll have their letter to me this calendar year. The only other item I had was the software upgrade for the finance, the payroll system update. I thought we were outsourcing payroll, and now we're buying an upgrade system to the payroll.
Well, someone to do the payroll. This is the software we use, but Debbie can. I mean, that's like saying we bought new finance software. We don't need a finance director. I mean, someone's still we can buy a new computer for the payables and receivables. Someone's still got to do it.
Oh, I thought that CitySphere was included in that, and I thought that it was capable of doing that. It's completely something different.
No, the CitySphere is for that. That's building department. Yeah, that has nothing to do with the finance. But we talked about this last year. I mean, Debbie requested this in the last year's budget, and since we were doing the finance software, we waited till this year. Debbie, correct me if I'm wrong.
That's correct.
But-
Yeah, it's a software upgrade that we will need to do within the next couple years because the software won't be supported any longer through CMI, but it would be the same level as the finance software is now.
All right, thank you for the explanation.
Let's hey guys, sorry, Tom can't join. I'm not sure what happened. I sent him the link twice and
It's fine.
he can't get in. Just
If Sherry, Maria, or Joe, you have any questions or any other questions, anything else?
Yeah,
Go ahead, Joe.
just, because I don't know what it is. You might have said something, but just under, I don't have a number, but the community development, economic developer, 70,000. What's that? That's under community.
it's probably Monica's salary because again, we're paying her and we get reimbursed by the other cities.
Right, so I see the 58 and
and-
another 11, and so that's just all included with hers. All right.
Yeah, I'm not. Unless Debbie can answer that before I can
Yes.
find it. Unless that's just
Yeah.
expenses and gas.
It's
and
just
things.
expenses and the
Okay.
salary is in one line, the expenses for her, whatever software she has that she uses, and then any seminars or her benefits, it all goes kind of into that expense line.
And then, okay, so also last thing on the, for the street sweeper. So that has I thought we were doing that 87, wasn't it like split into three? And cause I see the charge for the, in the service department for equipment, and that's for the street sweeper, right?
Yes. But we have to encumber it. We had 87 in there this year, but then the encumbrance drops off at the end of the year. So in next year's budget, we have to encumber 2/3 of it. So 187,000 carries over in the fund balance, but the full 2/3 has to be in this budget. So we can encumber that until the end of next year. Then that'll drop off, and then the other 87,000 will be added to the encumbrance for 2022.
Okay,
So
all right, that's it.
Any other questions, Maria or Sherry? If not, I'll let Service Director Strauser talk about the leasing of the trucks that he wanted to present. Do you want me to share that information?
Yeah, if you can share that screen, then I'll go over it with everybody. And like I said, this isn't something that, I'm really pushing for, especially since we just spent some money on vehicles with the COVID. But this is a good deal for the city, and I just want to explain it to everybody. I think that this is a no-brainer if it pans out like they say.
Well, it's going to be, I'm going to have to say it's unfortunate. I don't think that, unless Sandy's still on, she didn't make me the co-host, so I can't share.
Okay, I can still go over it. Everybody, I did send
Yeah.
everybody.
I can do that for you. Hold on one
Oh,
second,
you're
Ed.
on. I thought you may.
Yeah,
have fallen
I'm still
asleep.
here. Yeah, I can do that for you. I can try to do that. Hold on.
Okay.
Make host. Do you want to change? Yes, I do. Okay, you're on.
Well, I see it.
There you go.
Here we go.
Okay, I don't know if you guys can just bring it up, but basically, if you just look at where it says 2021 GMC 1500 base 4x4 double cab 6.5 foot box. So what that is basically an extended cab 4-wheel drive pickup truck. So they're telling us that this guy from the leasing company, Enterprise Leasing Company, and he's more than willing to come to a council meeting. But he's telling me that we can lease a vehicle, a pickup truck. You have to have a minimum, he said, of 5, but he's going to do 4 for us because I just don't want to jump in head over heels to this. So basically, if you look at the numbers there, it would cost the city $389 a month to lease a vehicle. Okay, which would be a total of $4,674 to lease that vehicle for the year. At the end of the year, we would then go ahead and turn it back in. They would sell it for us. He's telling me that he can sell it for $30,100. So then they would write us a check back for $5,474, which actually would be a net bonus to the city of $800. So it would cost the city actually nothing to lease 4 new pickup trucks. It would actually be, they would get a check at the end basically for $3,200 from if we'd lease 4 of them. That's what he's telling me. Now, now the only thing is this isn't guaranteed. He isn't guaranteeing us that he can sell it for $31,100, but he sent me the last 250 vehicles that they ran through there. And almost every one, he was pretty much right on the money and what they sold them for, what they bought them for, and everything like that. I guess a negative could be if, gas goes to $5 a gallon and pickup trucks, aren't worth, what they are now. If something happens with the economy and, the economy tanks, something like that. But he did assure me that it wouldn't be over. The most the city could lose is that $389 a month, even if we couldn't sell it, unless there was obviously some type of a damage to the vehicle or something else that he could charge us back. Now, these leases are for 12 months for 10,000 miles a year. So I was thinking we have a few vehicles in the service department just to try it. Down the road, if this works out, I mean, there's plenty of vehicles like, the building commissioner's car, the buildings, the inspector's car, all kinds of different things, maybe like the detective school car, some things like that, this could work out for us in the long run. There is one negative. You can't paint the vehicles like, we paint all our city vehicles the city green. You can't paint them. They would have to be a standard color. And we can get any color we want. That's a factory color. But it's just something that I thought we should look at. Ed, I know you and I spoke, this would not be considered a capital purchase because you wouldn't be keeping it for 5 years. So it wouldn't be a capital purchase. So it would just have to come out of the regular budget. So if you guys wanted to do a program like this, like I said, the minimum you can order is 4 vehicles. It would be, we'd have to put away like $20,000. And then hopefully at the end of next year, either we would go continue with the program or they would give us a check back for, $20,000, $23,000. If anybody have any questions, I can explain it a little better. Let me know.
No, I guess my question is a 1500 CR 1500 strong enough, big enough, heavy duty enough for your job, or for those?
Well, if you again, this would be, I would lease 4 of the vehicles, and then I was actually going to get into that. If you look over one row, it's a 2021 Sierra 2500 base 4x4 double cab. That would be the one I would lease. So my intentions are to at least 1 for the service department, because I had 1 replacement pickup truck. I would replace the mayor's vehicle and give him a pickup truck. His vehicle's getting a little older. We have an old unit number 41 that we just use. It's called our painting vehicle that we use. It's a I want to say it's a 1996 GMC. So that would be another vehicle that I would use it for. And the 4th one would either be, I'm not even sure yet, but it'd either be mine or the service superintendent's vehicle. That would be the 4th ones. And basically the 3 of the 4 would be admin vehicles right now. The 4th one, I would probably actually, if I did go the half ton, I would probably just, I may even go with just a half ton and use it for the garbage vehicle. Because the garbage vehicle we have, again, is super old and falling apart. So as long as we didn't do any damage to it, I mean, this is, he's telling me as long as we don't do any damage to the vehicles, this is the kind of money we're going to get back. Okay, so according to your recommendation, are you talking about using the 1500 or the 2500? I guess it's still all up in the air. I would like to use the 2500 because that's what we're going to be replacing, is one more of the last pickup trucks. But we just got 2.
But for the admins, do you think they only need 1500s?
Absolutely, yes. Yeah,
So
there would be
three
no reason-
1500s and one 2500?
Correct, correct. That would be the most likely scenario. And if you look, the 2500 does actually cost the city because the discount isn't quite as much. I believe at the end, after the lease is over, it costs the city $700. Now, the only other negative with that is because I would have a plow on that vehicle, there would be a $900 charge to swap the plow out from vehicle to vehicle to vehicle, you know, which I would still have to buy for that also. But the plow is reusable and the frame is reusable from vehicle to vehicle unless they change model years or something like that, unless there's a drastic change. It would be like $900 a year for a changeover. So, so my thought with that was, it's possible I may even just get the 3/4 ton and not put a plow on it and put a plow on one of my 1 tons. I have a brand new 1 ton we don't have a plow on because we just don't have the manpower to drive all these vehicles with plows. So I would probably buy a plow for the 1 ton, put it on there, and then not have this vehicle, not have that extra $900 cost.
Okay, so what about all the vehicles, the pickup trucks we currently have? Will they go on like gov deals or anything else that we will no longer lead, all the older pickup trucks? If we continue this program, would we
Yes.
all our equipment through gov deals or something along those lines?
Correct. If we get into this program and I was able to lease 4 vehicles, I would get rid of the mayor's vehicle. And like I said, he'd probably either mine or the service superintendent's, the old 41, and then 1 pickup truck, probably 44, the old pickup truck. Now we did just get 2 new, pickup trucks through the COVID, which helped us out tremendously. I would really been pushing this issue if we didn't get those 2 new trucks because they helped us out greatly. But I still think it's a good deal. It's worth trying. If it doesn't work out, we'll just go back. I'm not going to get, the city of Wickliffe did do this. And they started out leasing 9 vehicles right off the bat. I don't believe in jumping head over heels into something like that. Just in case it doesn't work out. Now you're stuck 9 vehicles down. So I would, any vehicle that would get replaced under this lease, I would definitely get rid of. The COVID ones we have to keep until next year because that increased our social distancing. That was our reasoning for buying those, one of the reasons.
Okay, I'm good. Any other council member have any questions? Sherry, go ahead. Oh, no, Maria, go ahead. I'm sorry.
So what you're saying is if this worked with these 4 vehicles, eventually, if it made sense, you would replace all the vehicles this way?
No, I would never say that because like certain vehicles, like a police car, there's too much, there's $9,000 involved in switching a police car over, yeah. No, yeah, it would not work for all the vehicles because they get too beat up. So this would basically, I foresee it being just something for like the administrators, things like that, Ray Sachs' car, Dino's car, like I said, a school car for the detectives. It doesn't have a lot of equipment and a lot of money to change it over because the thing is you have to get rid of it in a year. You can't lease it. If you lease it for 2 years, the cost goes way up. If you lease it for 3 years, it goes way up. And if you actually scroll on that page over to the right, you'll see what a 2-year lease versus a 1-year lease is. So the cost to the city, and the reason how this works, from what the guy explained to me, is that Enterprise Rent-A-Car goes to General Motors Chevy this year, and they say, hey, listen, we're going to buy 500 lease vehicles from you guys. Now if they get all these cities around, now I know this, the University of Toledo does this. Like I said, Wickliffe just signed on. There's a bunch of colleges and universities around Ohio. So say they go to General Motors and they say, hey, we're going to lease 500 vehicles. How much would it be? Then they say, okay, hey, we're going to lease 1,000 vehicles. We're going to buy 1,000 vehicles. Now they drop the price. That helps them out. That's why they're offering the cities this discount, because they get they have more buying power with the more vehicles they buy from GM.
So then at the end of the year, you return it and you get another lease?
Correct. Yeah, well, because especially if we're going to get rid of those vehicles, we would have to, So maybe 1 or something I hang on to just in case, something.
These are all pickup trucks. These are never cars. These are all pickup trucks.
Correct. The leases are not there. The leases are not there on cars at all. It's just, I can give you a whole breakdown. He broke me down a bunch of, I looked into leasing a new Tahoe for the police chief. And with the amount of miles he puts on, it was going to be like $700 a month. And there was hardly no buyback. So it's just certain vehicles that this lease works out for.
That's pretty cool. Then everybody will be driving a pickup truck. How great.
Yeah, whatever,
Matching pickup trucks.
Sherry or Joe, any other questions?
Are you,
Go
are you
ahead,
able
Sherry.
to put like magnetic, like City of Wickliffe signs on them?
I believe I'm just gonna put the regular stickers on the side. As long as we only lease the thing for a year, it won't do any imprint damage or anything like that. If, we do imprint damage when we get rid of our vehicles, that's because they've been on there for 10 years. For a year, I don't think it's gonna be that big of a deal. And that, again, that would only be on the one vehicle because the mayor's vehicle, like Bob's admin vehicle, they're not even stickered up, but the other two in the service department would be.
Okay, would you need a truck bed liner for those or no?
Yes, and they're about $169.
Okay. All right, thank you.
Joe?
My only thing, I talked with Ron about prior, and yeah, it seems good, and he's pretty thorough on checking things, so I trust him on this.
No, I agree. I think it's a program we should check out, at least on a trial period. Now, Ron, how many pickup trucks do your guys use? I know most of this you're talking about is admin, but how many pickup trucks do your guys use on a regular basis? A handful? 4 or 5?
We have 6 pickup trucks in the service department right now. So, yeah. So this would only be replacing, actually there's 7 if you include that older one. That's the paint vehicle. So this would actually replace 2 of those. And then the other 2 would replace Bob Snyder. He's driving an old hand-me-down Police Explorer. And then I have my Blueberry that everybody sees, my Ford Escape, 2013 Ford Escape. And then the mayor has his Impala.
So in theory, we're gonna start with 4, but eventually we could get up to 8 to 10 if this program.
If the program works, and like I said, so my theory on this is, even if it doesn't work out and he says, hey, you know what, they sell the vehicle for a couple thousand less, instead of making $800, it costs the city $1,200 for $100 a month. There's no way that we can even compare with what our maintenance costs are. I mean, you lease a vehicle for a year. The only thing you're doing to it is changing the oil. That's it. There's no tires, no brakes, no nothing.
Right.
So it's a huge savings on the other end too.
And mileage isn't a concern?
Mileage, there may be, like, if I ended up getting one, I probably put about 12,000 miles a year. So I would look into that. But if not, I don't think Bob, any of the other vehicles, no, mileage would not be a concern at all.
Okay. Any other questions on this? Does anybody have any objections to this? No? Does anybody have any objections to the temporary budget that was presented? Okay. Nothing? Okay. Then I will say that the Finance Committee recommends the temporary budget be approved to the City Council and will report it out of committee, including this leasing program. Okay. That is it. Thank you guys, and have a great week.
You too. Thanks.
Good night, everyone.
Good night.
Ed, I think you're
Good
gonna
night.
have to end the meeting.
I'm doing it.